is part two, count it, of the Warhammer 40k Necromunda Ash Wastes Broken Biodome build. Yes, it is. We need some of this. We need a bit of this. We're going to need some of this. Oops, fell off. And we're going to see how this goes. Yep, I'm back for a while. I've just come back from doing a week of piracy work in the southwest of Pendennis Castle and then in the southeast at Dover Castle for English Heritage. And I've had a jolly good time too. It's been absolutely bonkers July, but we're coming back on it, and I've got a few weeks at home before I go for pirate elsewhere. So I'm hoping to get a bunch of models made. And I really need to finish this Broken Biodome. This, of course, is a Patreon build. This was for the winner of my April Patreon competition. I'm way months behind now, so I really need to crack on with this. For those of you who haven't watched the first part, what on earth are you doing here? Go and watch the first part. This will make an awful lot more sense if you watch the first part. But if you want to skip towards the end, spoilers, then I've still got quite a lot to do. I got my head around the main concept of the model last time, which was this kind of like experimental biodome out in the deserts that's going to have my patron wants plant life growing out of it, all kind of like taken over and controlled. So it's been smashed up a bit. It's all a complete ruin like everything else on Necromunda, and now we've got to get on with the detailing. There's quite a lot there, and I've had to do this model in several stages, so from that point of view there's still quite a bit to do. So without any further ado, let's crack on. Come over here and let's have a look at the constituent parts of this model, and I'm going to see how we go. I have to say I really am making this one up as I go along. I didn't really do any sketching or drawing and planning with this at all, and if you have seen the first video, you'll know that I changed my mind about a number of things as we've gone. So as I make this introduction, I genuinely have got no idea how this is going to go and what I need to do. So come over here and let's have a look at the bits of the model. Apologies because I've gone all kind of like handheld now. Right, so here is the main base of the model. It's about 13 inches square. We've got some multi-hollis tiles here inside the biodome. We've got the odd thing there, and we've got a bit of riser STC building in there, which is quite cool. And then on top of that goes this plastic dome. Big hole in the roof, big hole in the side, which means you can get your hands inside, that kind of thing. Still got quite a lot of detailing, I think, that I want to add one way or another, fine detail to this part of the model, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to deal with this plastic when it comes to painting and working with it. Might have to scuff it up and wash it and that kind of thing, dust it with sprays, or yeah, not sure. Then on top of that we've got the very expensive Pampered Chef colander piece of scenery that goes over the top. The roof is, I'm happy with now, got to add more details to that. This needs more bits on it. I'm thinking that this bit is going to be permanently detachable. Thank you. I'm thinking that this bit here is going to be detachable, and this bit here then will be permanently stuck down. That way there you get your hands inside the top and in the side there, which is pretty cool. So obviously I'm going to have to paint, well, not obviously, but I am going to paint all of this inside first when I've added all the other details, before I stick this down to it and work out how on earth I'm going to deal with that bit. Then I'm going to put sand and gunk and crap around the outside, and then we should be done, kind of thing. I might add some more detail to the underside here to make it more interesting from a painting point of view, cover up my hot glue splurges, and we'll go from there. I'm hoping that we're going to get all of this done in this next video. I am going to use bits of the broken dome. I think I'm going to scatter that around, smash that on the floor. That can be covered up with sand. Yeah, we'll see what we got. It's been so hot in the workshop. I've had a few disasters. Check it out. Glue splurged all over the place. Bubbled up out of the bottles. Oh, how annoying is that? Haven't been in here for a little while. So, I think I need to put the camera back on the tripod. And I think immediately I need to go digging through the cack. Alright, so the purpose of this cack digging foray is to find small detail stuff that I can stick on and make this a little bit more interesting. So I'm not really sure what I'm looking for at all whatsoever. Got all kinds of bits of cack here. It's just like, kind of like, look, you know, random bit of sprue, don't need it, Lord of the Rings. Bit of a troll by looks of things. Totally don't need that, let's get rid of that. So, digging through the So here we go, typical random cack box of mine. Yeah, not really sure what I'm looking for, to be quite honest. This is one of the fun things about digging through the cack, is literally trying to find cool stuff you can add to a model. What I really want, I suppose, is some junk that can go on the floor. Again, that I might cover up with bits of sand. Little things like ammo boxes, power units. I mean, these are like tiny little things, but they're kind of cool. Pig in foam. So yeah, I'm looking for things that will just make the whole thing more interesting from a painting point of view. A different texture in my cack box. It even includes handy lumps of stone. Yeah, that could go on straight away. Panels, flat bits, broken bits of doorway. Yeah, detailing like repurposed stuff. Oh no, that looks like a smoke launcher. Something. Somebody could probably tell me. Lots of bit nerds out there, I'm sure, would happily tell me that's a. What is that a smoke launcher? I don't know. Various things that I can just stick in and make look like they're part of the building. Yeah, you know, if you've hung out with me before, you know what digging through the cack is all about. I get lots of messages about my cack boxes. There are people who are envious of my cack boxes. There are other people who wish to boast about the quality of their cack boxes too. And that's, yeah, good for you as well. So look, there's all sorts of things. 40k bases, broken wheels, 20 bore musket balls. Don't know what that's in there for. Who knows? So look, there's no point in you kind of like watching every single bit that I dig through. Some of you I know are watching it going, I know what that bit is. Nerds. I'm just going to root through and see what I can find and then start sticking it on. See you in a moment. Alright, so here's my pile of cack. I'm not going to use it all necessarily, but I've got all kinds of things in there. There are Necromunda computer panel things, bits of just fly swat, stuff that I've used on some models before. Look, that's a bit of wrecked kind of like concrete with some just stuff going on it. Broke a bit of barricade. Loads of Mechanicus piping and stuff. Gonna have some of that hanging in the ceiling. Did find. Can't remember where they came from. Old school spiky mushroom. Look at that big beggar. That's totally going in there. That is. Got to in it really. Big mushroom with a spiky spike. So that's going to go in. Oh, and I've got to remember I've also got this, which is the top of a Ujima flip. What's it called? Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, cocktail stick pot, which is going to maybe have been holding some kind of specimen or another in there, which is now broken out. Can't go there though because it's going to be too close to the edge of the dome. Might not work. Oh well. We'll have to see what happens. Some Playmobil. I've bought some new Playmobil recently. Oh mate, are we going back to the sump soon? But in the meantime, look, there's a thing there that might go up in the roof as well. So from that point of view, it's a case of fiddle around now and stick it on. Lots of little panels and plates and things that I'm going to sink outside. I'm going to cut this vent. Where are we? Here we go. I'm going to cut this vent off this mortalis tile, stick it outside where the dome would be, and have sand growing all over that, so it looks like it's just something from that could go maybe down and into. I don't know, it's just adding that thing so the outside is just not just sand and dullness, which is kind of cool. And I might have some pipe work or something over the other side. Don't know. I'll see what we can find. I've also got in my cack pile the odd weapon, las gun, that kind of thing, just be there, just junked up, sat in the corner. Bit of kit for somebody to come along and take away. So I'm going to stick on a bunch of details, and then we're going to get this baby undercoated. Got to do the outside detail as well, yeah. Yeah, let's see how that all works out. So, this is where I'm now at with stuff stuck on. I've got my base of my mushroom. I've got a control panel for whatever this is. I've got a lump of rock. This bit here is going to have plants growing in it. I need to sand around the outside, bits and pieces. I've got various bits of just junk down here on the floors, a las gun underneath that, and again around the entrance, bits of junk here. Don't want to overdo it, but there needs to be some stuff of interest. So now on the outside of this, I need to stick a few bits of rock, then a load of sand on it, and then I'm going to spray paint it out, I suppose. I'm definitely going to paint it without dome. Although the dome is going to go on here. It's going to look pretty cool now. It's starting to look quite neat. I'm liking this. It's starting to look kind of busy in there. That mushroom's going to go in there like that. That's going to be kind of cool. And then this thing is going to start enabling me to put plants in it as soon as it's painted. Let's lower this down, see if we can have a look through the hole. That's kind of cool. I'm beginning to like this. This is looking pretty neat. And like I said, I'm probably going to break a couple of bits of this up and have it lying down around here as well. That's quite neat. So along with that, I have super glued. Sorry about the motorbike noises. It's really hot tonight. I've got all the windows open. So I've super glued the odd bit around the edge of the rim here. More guff underneath there for texture. There we go. That looks pretty cool. Just about ready now to get on with the painting process. When it's painted, then I can start adding plant life to it, which will be pretty neat as well. See how we go with that. So, I'm going to start for tonight because I need to undercoat. Prime it tomorrow. Should be a nice good dry day tomorrow. Get it primed, start getting it painted. You go for a pretty basic paint job. Metals and then loads of dust and then pick out a bunch of details. We'll see how we go. Let's see what this looks like after I've got the whole thing sanded. Happy days coming on. Okay, so now we are sanded. Everything's been covered in sand. I decided the easiest thing to do was just to sand the entire baseboard. I've also sanded around the bottom of the rim here. In fact, I've painted Mod Podge over pretty much all the metal surface, so hopefully paint would adhere to it better. I have put sand around the base of the plastic here. This is still going to cause me the most grief. I think I might scratch it up and just ink wash it or dust over it or something. And then here we have the main part of the facility now completely sanded, so everything blends in all the way around. I've used some bits of slate from my garden as well down here and over here for added rock stuff. And now I think I'm pretty much ready to undercoat it and paint it, see what it looks like. Because until I've done that, I can't do things like add plants and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what we need. One thing I've decided to do, I think, is to use some filler. This is Tetra, this is what I could get, to bank up these edgy bits here and mound up more sand against them, which was a suggestion made by a friend of mine, Paul, and it's right really, these are too harsh, and although it's only a tiny little detail, I want it to look like the sand is just kind of like banked up against all of it. So I'm going to cut the top of this and apply some filler, then apply some sand on top of it. That might slow down the whole process of undercoating, what have you, but I think it'll be worth it in the long run. So if you're watching I Am Greys, and I'm pretty sure you will be, this is your fault. It's your fault. The whole thing is taking longer to produce. Yeah, blame Paul. It's not my fault at all. I've not been slacking off. It's Paul's fault. Yes, it is. Okay, so I've banked up more sand up against the raised beds and things, hopefully to give the impression of sand blown in. This, of course, though, because I've used filler, is going to slow down the whole process. I've got to wait for everything to dry. So at this point, there's a delay in the making of this video, and it's all Paul's fault. So everybody say, bloody hell, Paul. Right, in the meantime, I've got to let this dry, and then I'm going to undercoat it. Here we are. It's been undercoated. I've undercoated black, sprayed it with a gunmetal colour, and also gone over with it with a brown. The Plas Creek dome underneath, just dusted with a brown and a wraith bone, just to take off some of that, and I might weather that a bit more. So all I really need to do now is actually get on with the painting of this. Going to wield first of all, if I've got any, and it hasn't dried up in the intense heat in my workshop. What we're going for first, brown. What's that brown called? I can't remember. In the old days, it used to be called bestial brown. Shame names changed now. Name completely escapes me. And then a load of rust colour over all the metal work, and then we're going to do dust. This shouldn't take too long to paint to start off with. It's going to go rusty metal crap, ash wastes. Same on the roof. Here we are. Brown. Looking alright though, so when you glance up there, it's going to have rusty stuff in the roof, rusty stuff on there, sand absolutely everywhere. So, something I haven't done for a few weeks. Let's paint a model. How exciting. I mean, even for me, who we all know how much I love the painting part of it, not a massive fan of the painting part of it, rather than the making part of it, but right now, I'm excited to get painting. So, wish me luck. Here we go. I'm not going to bore you with paintbrushes going backwards and forwards. I'm going to use paints, Citadel paints, whatever they are. I'm going to brush different colours on them. It's going to be fairly basic. You might like it. You might think I could have gone to the town more on it. Hey ho, them's the breaks. This is a whole process here we're watching, people. So, yeah. Let's rock on and paint this goddamn model. That's when you get to this point of the painting, you think you've made a mess of it. It's going to have to improve. Oh well. Let's keep going, see what happens. Okay, so here we are. Several layers into painting in. I've got to admit, I'm kind of relieved. The first couple of bits of paint on it, I wasn't happy with it at all. But actually, I think it's going to be alright. There's going to be enough colour there. There's the rust and the brown, and then I've got to go lots lighter on the dust. I've used on that brown undercoat that I had XV88, and then at the minute I'm on whatever that is, Zamazi Desert. And I plan to slap some Steel Legion drab on in place, and I'm probably going to go with more gas bone as well. But yeah, I'm trying to get as much of the ash wastes painted before I start picking out details and different things. So this is the main plan at the moment, is just get all the ash and the dust painted on it. Which of course is the biggest part of the paint job. Try and take down the orange of some of the rust in some places. Building up the dust work layer upon layer. So I think it's going to be alright. The Mod Podge going on the metal of the framework here has worked really well. That's meant that paint has adhered to it nicely. Well, actually, my biggest problem painting all this is the fact that it's been as hot as it's in the high 30s, in almost up to 40 around here recently in temperature, and inside this workshop so much hotter, which means a lot of my paints have really suffered. I was that impressed I was able to start painting in the middle of the night without having to go to a paint hobby shop to replace a load of my paints. I am going to have to go to a hobby shop to replace a load of my paints, but I did have enough to be getting on, so that's where we're going to leave this for the minute. A couple of other layers to go, and then I'm going to pick out the details. I have had one brilliant idea, of course, because on the underside here is painted, and I've got these globules of hot glue that I used, and can't disguise those, and all these trailing bits. So I think actually what I'm going to do is put some more on and paint that up as some kind of oozing, gooey kind of like plant life or something escaping through the roof, or to add a bit of colour in a kind of nasty green or something else. But where are we now? I'll tell you where we're now. We're getting there. That's where we are now. Oh, this is where we're at, which is kind of cool. Rust, loads of sandy, deserty stuff. I'm now going to go for a Morgos brown dust over everything. Try and get that, trying to get all this up so I can get to the point where I can paint in some details and add some plants, and then this goddamn model will be finished. So yeah, more dry brushing, everybody. Here we go. Scream louder, girls, if you want to go faster. Here we are. I'm going to get a big brush. We're going to get some more Goss bone. I'm going to dry brush this thing. Nearly called it something horrible. No, I'm not going to do that. It's just a nice model. It's coming along. It's alright. Yay, go me. So my Morgos bone has really suffered in this weather as well. Almost another dead paint. Alright, we're now adding colour a little bit. Plants and that kind of thing. Going to pick out a few details. Then I'm going to stick the plastic dome down, and then we're going to stick more plant life in. Whoa. Alright, so I've got a few details in here. I'm just going to add a bit more paint to as a pile of grenades there, and a bit of pipe, communications pack and things. So I'm just going to backtrack and add some metals to that and some washes over that. Then I think I'm ready to stick the roof on, the dome on, and try to plant life. Kind of cool. Getting towards the end of this now. My biggest disaster this week, apart from all the dried up paint, is the spilt puddle of Seraphim Sepia in the bloody paint box. How annoying is that? Anyway, back to tank barrels and stuff. Iron breaker. Run out of lead belcher. God damn, I need to go and buy some paint. Yeah. Off to my FLGS this weekend to replenish the paint supply. That's this iron breaker. Another one that's completely knackered. Oh well. Get some on here. If it gets too shiny, I'll just dull it down with a bit of Nolan oil or some such. That's not bad. I just want to give this, all of this here, a bit of a metal sheen to it. Big brush. Bit of a dry brush. Mr. Finger comes in handy. So when you're making this kind of model, I tend to find that you have to draw a line somewhere. I could carry on and on and on, adding detail after detail after detail, but what I want to do is get it done, finished and on the table. So there are also decisions that you have to make about this kind of thing, and in this case it's the different components. Obviously I've got the main building down here. I've then got this dome, which is now suitably dirty. At one point I toyed with the idea of having this and this removable, but now I think This I'm going to stick permanently onto the model. Because if I stick this permanently on the model, I can then have plant life and such growing up the inside of the dome and that kind of thing. I can make the dome an integral part of the model. There's still enough room to get your hand inside here, and plenty of room to get your hand in from the side there, but it means I can do more detailed model kind of stuff with plants and things. And this bit I'm definitely going to leave off. It's going to sit on, which is great. I can drop the sit nicely because of the stuff in the roof, hold it all in place, so it ain't going to rock and roll while I'm playing. But what it means is this is removable to get access to all parts of the model, but it is going to look pretty cool. And all it's had, I used some of that spilt seraphim shade to go over most of that, and what with the paint dusting and whatever else, it's now starting to look pretty manky, so that's kind of cool. So I'm going to stick down this base on here, then I'm going to investigate plant life. I'm just going to add a little bit more detail to a las gun just down here, I think. So now we are at the point where we have stuck Mr. Dome down onto Mr. Base. Good, good, good. Now when you think about plants in this model, and I've gone with various plants from aquariums and feathery things from wherever the hell that was from. It might look quite cool over the back, growing out things, growing up, going across the ceiling. It's quite a cool colour, which is what I'm after. I bought this in the fish shop. Bio-orb sea fans. It's blue. It's a bit plastic looking, but actually by the time I cut it out, I reckon I can dry brush over it. Well, that's some pretty cool colour. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to get so I'm going to make a hole in some of the styrene, and I'm going to stick it in. And then there's this stuff which is kind of like red weed. You can have red weed out of a biodome, claiming back the earth. Going to give that a go too. See what we get. Oh yeah. So this red weed is kind of working quite nicely. I'm not sure how much I'm going to stick down, how much I'm just going to weave through bits of the dome. It's pretty good. See if we can get inside. Oh, shoot through that bit, look. There it is over there, and I've got it kind of like crawling up and over the top and around the outside. It's kind of neat. It's going to need the odd bit, I think, of super glue to hold it in place. But in other places, not. Just a dab or a spot of gel stuff or what have you. I've got another bit, which I'm also going to use. That was big. There we go. It's pretty cool. So, really hoping that's going to look ace underneath that other canopy. We'll see. Alright, so I've had these bits of aquarium tree kicking around for ages. I mean, like decades. And now they're going to go in a model. Just for this. They're going to look really cool. Again, I don't want to overcrowd the main playing area on this, but the whole point was it was overrun with plants, so super glue gel on the back. That's only left in the tube, that is. Now, I read an interesting thing on the back of the Gorilla tube about how you're supposed to make it work. Give it a good shake, bang it on the desk. Apparently that shakes glue into the tube. Bloody hell, it does too. Does it every time. There you go, look at that. So, sticking that down in the corner there. So obviously let that glue go off. Covering up some of those hard surfaces. Can't decide if the blue is too much. Some ways I ought to cover up, put some other stuff on it, but it's starting to look kind of cool. This lot needs to hang down, I think, in there. I think it needs gluing down. So it hangs down, but well, I still won't be able to get your hands, so pretty much there now. From a plant life point of view, don't want to overdo it. Maybe some more blue just over here. I mean, blue is, you know, this is definitely alien life form in it, really. It kind of works. Just cut another bit out, I'll see what happens. If you don't like the blue, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Kind of like it. Kind of works. Especially if I can get it down the back over here. Going out the floor. Going up the inside of the dome. Like that would be cool. I might have to get a brush in there to just add a bit of shade to it all. Blue, 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 blue. So this is Gorilla Super Glue Gel. Just the right stuff for this kind of application. Where I want big globules of glue that I can stick plants into good and solid. Stick it in. Of course it dries clear, which is nice. Pretty neat. So try and get that inside there. Into that big lump of glue over the back. I wish I had small hands. This is where having great big hands like mine don't help. Really doesn't. But stick in there and get bigger. Hold that in place. Okay. Don't bother watching me holding this in place, it's going to be dull. Okay, I'm now at the stage where I've got quite a lot of plant in here. And I now need to leave it all the glue to go off before I start tweaking. And I've got to add some wash or some detailing or something, especially to the blue. But I think you'll agree, I hope you'll agree, that looks pretty neat. Hoping there's enough plant in there to sell it as the thing that it is, but not too much to prevent play. Well, I think actually I'm finished. I'm at the point where it's kind of done. It's got plants, it's got broken biodomes, it's got everything that we talked about. I need to clear up the workshop and the desk, because you know, you can't make a model without chucking some cack all over the place. Ah, look at this. And then, yeah, messy. And then we'll take a closer look. Bear with, it's tidying up time. There you go. Well, I'm calling that. I'm pretty much done. It's one of these models you could just carry on and keep adding detail. But in the end, that's going to get in the way of actual playability. I've learned a few things while I'm making this model, things that have kind of reaffirmed to myself. Working with plastic aquarium plants is hard. They kind of look alright. I'd love to be able to kind of build from scratch, but actually they're kind of cool. With a wash, the red, with an ink wash or two, they kind of come out alright. This could possibly need a little bit more dirtying up. I think I might leave that to the client. The red weed is pretty cool all over it. I'm quite pleased with that. The double colander look has worked out real good. I'm really pleased with that. The metal frame over the top of it is all kind of cool. Here it is. This is the finished thing. It's pretty neat. I've deliberately left some of the weeds not stuck in one end, but they can be moved around. I'm happy with the fact that I can get my hand in here as it is, but I'm also really liking the fact that when you take this section off, you get tons of access to the model, which means that there's loads of playability there, which is kind of cool. There's enough variation in plants inside it for it to be sold as what it is, but then again there's plenty of room here to get figures and play. And with the control room out the back, which was going to have a roof, but I binned that idea because again I wanted accessibility for playing. This control room area, again, loads of ways in, loads of ways out. So I'm hoping that this would go on pretty much any ash waste kind of table. It would work really well on any kind of desert kind of terrain for any sci-fi. Yeah, it was built for a Necromunda and for Ash Wastes really, but it would work real well on a 40k table, but it would work equally as well, I think, on a Stargrave table, or to be quite honest, even a Star Wars Legion table, or anything else, Rogue Stars, you name it. It's just a cool bit of wrecked kind of biodome out on a deserty planet. Could do with a bit more sandy colour, I suppose, for Tatooine, but you know, it works pretty cool. So from that point of view, I'm really, really happy with this. I guess what's also cool is actually there's absolutely nothing stopping the client using this as a completely separate piece of scenery. You could use the biodome as it is with the lid ripped off, and this then makes a bonus bit of scenery, 2 bits of scenery on your table for the price of 1. How cool is that? It's just struck me as I've been doing this. Like the goo underneath, that is the hot glue. That's worked out real good too. So nice, happy with that. 2 bits of scenery for the price of 1. What a bargain build. Now remember, this model is not for me to use. I'm not going to be using this on an ash waste table. Hell, I don't even have an ash waste table yet. This is a competition winner. This is going to be going to one of my patrons who won the competition back in April for a design competition, and at the end of this month I'll be making another draw for a design competition. If you're one of my patrons, you need to look out for the Patreon video and the competition details that will come through the Patreon page. What do you mean you're not one of my patrons? Well, you can check out my Patreon at patreon.com/MacleodBuilderWorlds. If you've enjoyed this build, then please do make sure you subscribe to this channel. I made it through 5,000 subscriptions. Over 5,000 of you regularly watch my stuff, which is just epic. If you're not one of my subscribers, please do subscribe. Click the button down there, it's really cool. Give us a like, please, that will help the algorithm. If you like what I've done with this model, please make comments down below. If you think there are things that I could have done differently, if you'd like to see in another model in the future, then also let me know in the comments down below. Now, this isn't going to be the only ash waste scenery that I make. I am going to be making more ash waste scenery, because apart from anything else, hang on, let me just reach over here. I haven't got one of these. I've got 2. Hey, one of them is definitely going to be for just turning into ash waste stuff, you know, from a kind of cargo hauler point of view. But in one of the ash waste books, there's a picture of one of these in it, and rather frivolously, and thanks to my patrons, I'm going to be turning this one into a piece of scenery, or maybe this one, I don't know. So watch out for that build in the next little while. I also just so happen to have one of these bad boys, which I can't help thinking is going to make a really good basis for some kind of ash waste moving vehicle for these bad boys. So you never know what's going to come up in the next few months. I have also recently won some really cool shit on eBay, Playmobil wise. I'm definitely going to be returning to the sump underneath Hive Primus. Also, of course, this is nearly finished. Burrows and Badgers, there's a video coming about that, and I've got some other B&B scenery to make, and there's other bits and pieces I've got in the pipeline. It's been a really busy summer. I've been out pirating, which has been a lot of fun. Shooting guns, sword fighting, that kind of thing. epic. Still got more of that to go this month, and then come the autumn back into school, really busy. But I've got a few weeks at home, so I'm going to crack on with a bunch of builds. So please do like, subscribe, do the thumbs up thing, leave the comment thing, do the Patreon thing. Keep watching Macleod Builder Worlds. I'll see you next time. I don't know if it's going to be on Necromunda, in Albion for Burrows and Badgers, or somewhere else. In the meantime, keep safe, paint figures, stay cool. I'll see you next time on Macleod Builder Worlds. Oh yeah, let's get some sexy looking close-ups. Over here. It's just it. Fuck's sake, get over here. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Check it out. Ubiquitous Orlock makes it out into the Ash Wastes down here in the broken biodome.